Delta. This is Delta. So Jerry has Delta, a Chesapeake Bay Retriever, and they've come all the way from Switzerland. Yes, do show your appreciation because they've come a very long way. We then have Yoda with Sally. This is a Golden Retriever and they've come all the way from Finland. And next, all the way from Finland again, we have Becky and she has Maya with a Black Labrador. And next we have Ursula with Scotty. And I'll say it very quietly because she was on the winning team, all the way from Germany. And finally, at the moment, although I will say we are taking late entries, so if any of our team turn up late, we're going to let them in. And this is Paul, and he is with Finn, and he's from Great Britain. So we have our two judges. Now, normally at a working test, you can imagine that we're not in an arena like this. We have a large area of farmland or woodland or whatever land we can borrow from landowners, and we set up a variety of tests. And the tests are designed to simulate what happens on a shooting day. We can't mimic it exactly, but we do our very best to simulate what could happen. So in this instance, what we're asking the dogs to do is to mark a retrieve. So a gun would fire and a dummy would be thrown and the dogs would be sent. And what we're looking for is the dog to mark accurately, have a clean pickup and a prompt return to their handler. So no deviation, no looking for anything else, just smartly back to their handler. And the judges, we have our judges down the bottom here, and they are going to give a score. Now the maximum score the dogs can achieve is 20. And if the judge sees anything they don't like, so for example, if the dog doesn't mark accurately, they might knock a point off. If they spend a long time looking for the marked retrieve, because they should have marked it, they might knock another point off or two. And they're looking for how the dog works with their handler. So are they working as a team? Does the dog listen to the handler? So as I say, this is a marked retrieve, so we hope the dog can see it. They mark it down. They've got to negotiate the obstacle at the end of the field there, which is a jump. So there we go, this is the Chesapeake, over the jump, marked it nicely, back over the jump without dropping the dummy. And she's coming flying back down. This is Delta, remember, I'm going to rely on my memory here, which is rubbish. But nicely back to hand, and then the judges will decide what score they want to give. So next competitor, please. So this is a Golden Retriever from Finland. And I think to speed things up a bit, we'll get the next lady down to wait here, so you don't have quite so far to walk. So there goes the dummy. Normally we would have gunfire, but we haven't got gunfire today. And out goes the Golden, up the hill. At least it's stopped raining. We did this yesterday in the torrential rain. It got very wet, I can tell you. So he's got to get over the jump. So he's mismarked it. Now, you think of it from the dog's point of view. They're looking up the hill. They've got ice cream vans and flags and all sorts of things, and it can distract them. But this dog's done as it's told, got over the jump and on its way back.
Should you be in the vicinity of low range?
Lovely. Now, there's nothing in the rules to say that the dogs have to sit.
Bronzes, sculpture.
They can, they don't have to, as long as they deliver tenderly to hand. So if this was a bird, they'd want to have the bird delivered without damage, because you want to eat it. If it was a pheasant, you might want to have it for your Sunday dinner, so you do not want teeth marks in it. Thank you very much. So a nice, gentle retrieve back to hand. So this time we have a Black Labrador. Yes, and I think he's seen it. He's going out purposefully. So the judges are looking for a dog that's workmanlike, works with purpose, knows his job, listens to his handler. And I don't think you can ask for more than that. So he went straight up the hill, no problem, over the jump. You can see the dogs have to be fit to do this sort of work, and a nice delivery as well. So you have another black Labrador here. And when the dogs are working in the field, they may negotiate any natural or man-made obstacles. So in this instance, it's a man-made fence, but it could be a ditch or a hedge or a river, stream, anything really. Through training, we teach our dogs to learn to not worry about things like that. We start off very close, we will build up their confidence and show them there's nothing to worry about. So in this instance, a fence, you would start really close with your dog and gradually build it up so the distance becomes greater, and then you can send your dog like this across the field, up the hill, and they're happy to jump the jump that they're presented with. So I think the judges have got a hard job here, haven't they? Because these dogs are really good. Next comes Paul with his black Labrador from Great Britain.
For a superb lunchtime experience, why not pop along to the James Martin Game Fair restaurant?
And you'll notice the dogs are all off the lead. They have to sit steadily at their handler's side, and they're not allowed to go until they're under instructions. The judge will tell the handler they can send their dog, and the handler tells their dog when to go. And again, another lovely mark. Very nice. So we have a late entry here. So I know this is a lady from Germany, and she has a curly-coated retriever. I've forgotten her name. I hope she'll forgive me. So curly-coated retrievers are one of the oldest retriever breeds developed in this country. They normally come in black, majority of them are black. This one is dark brown. I'm not sure actually whether they're called liver or chocolate. I'll have to find that out. But dark brown, but black as well. They have very tight curls all over their bodies. And again, march retrieve, they do the same job, and back we go. So we have another late entry here. This dog and handler are from Belgium, and this is a flat-coated retriever. Now, if you were here a little while ago, you'd have seen the flat coats having a little demonstration in the ring, so you could see their talents. And this one, if I can remember rightly, is Neilta. So all the way from Belgium. And this, you've just seen a curly coat, which is probably the oldest of the retriever breeds. And this is the second oldest, the flat-coated retriever. Bred and developed in this country, it's an English retriever. And out we go. And another lovely march retrieve. My goodness, the judges are going to have a hard job sorting this lot out. And another lovely delivery. So go on, give them a round of applause because I think they deserve it. Okay, so if the handlers would like to walk in line up the hill, because another thing the judges are looking for is good heel work, and the dog should be next to their handler, walking level with their left leg. Now, again, where they walk is entirely up to you, but what we really want is we want the dogs to be able to mark things. So if they were too far back, they wouldn't see anything. Let's say this was a walked up trial, for example. If they were too far back, they'd miss the action. So, in my opinion, my humble opinion, I like my dog to walk with their shoulder level with my leg. So their head is slightly out in front, and then they can see what's going on. So often in working tests, we will have one part of it will be a test to see how well the dogs walk at heel. And remember, they're all off the lead, so they can run around at any time, but they're trained not to do that. Okay, so this time we have a blind retrieve. What do we mean by that? Well, some people call it an unseen, which is pretty self-explanatory, something the dog has not seen. But through training, the dog will trust their handler that there's something out there for them to retrieve. So the dog hasn't seen a single thing, but they trust the handler that there is something there. Now we've hidden a dummy in the bushes there. The dog is sent out, and then they're giving a hunting signal. That could be a whistle, or it could be a verbal command. So they're told they're in the right area to get their noses down, and there'll be something there. Now if the wind is favourable and the scenting conditions are good, the dog doesn't need much help. But it all depends on weather and temperature and how much moisture there is in the air. All these things come into play. But there we are, this is Delta, the Chesapeake Bay Retriever. Developed in the United States and has a really oily, thick coat so that it can retrieve from really cold, icy waters with no problem whatsoever. Next comes the Golden Retriever. And this dog was actually bred out of the flat-coated retriever. Bred with, some people say, Russian circus dogs. But certainly they're bred along different lines. It was bred really and developed in Scotland, so it's a Scottish breed, but developed separately to form its own breed out of the flat coat. That it should be golden. It's often seen white ones these days, but I love to see a good golden coloured golden retriever because that's what they're meant to be. Nicely done. And back to hand. Okay, next competitor. So here comes the Labrador. This dog originates from Canada. So these dogs used to work for Canadian fishermen, and they used to go out and pull in the nets that held the fish, because the nets were held up by corks that floated on the water. They would go out and get hold of the corks and drag them back to the shoreline. And the Canadian fishermen used to come over to this country, and sportsmen saw the capabilities of the Labrador and thought, well, actually we could use that in the shooting field. And so they bought a few and developed them. And Lord Malmesbury was a great developer of the Labrador, and he brought them on, and look what's happened. They are the most popular retriever in the world. They're so adaptable. They can be trained to sniff out drugs. to assist people who have disabilities. They are incredible dogs, so biddable and loyal, and you can really see why. They took over because they're quick to learn, they mature quickly, lovely dogs to have around, make fantastic family pets, but this is what they were bred to do: find and retrieve game. And there you see a whistle being used. That's a hunting whistle. So with our retrievers, we tend to use probably just 3 whistles. We'll use one blast of a whistle to stop our dogs. We will use a few short pips to recall our dogs. And in this case, you saw Ursula there using sort of a little tune, a little singing sound with her dog, with her whistle, to tell her dog she's in the right area. And it's handy, it saves you shouting. So again, blind retrieve. So this is Paul, and he has Fen, and this is a black Labrador retriever. So he's gone off course, which Paul might not like, but in fact it's quite useful for us, because now he's got to use his stop whistle to tell the dog to stop, and then redirect him into the direction he's supposed to go. So the handlers are making this look very easy. I can tell you this takes many months, even years, to train dogs up to this sort of standard. So if they go wrong, this is where teamwork comes in, because if they go wrong, you can blow your stop whistle, redirect them, and get them into the right area. Once they're there, they use their natural ability to seek out the game, or in this case, canvas guys. So here comes the curly coat again, all the way from Germany. Blind retrieve. So this dog hasn't seen anything. We've been slipping those dummies out. Dogs haven't seen anything. He's getting his nose down in that cover there, scenting all the time. He knows there's something in there. Where is it? He's working it out, using his nose, and he's found it. So these dogs may have to retrieve from woodland, or may be worked on the moors in heather, on farmland. It might be ploughed fields, long grass, sugar beet, anywhere. And through experience they gain all this knowledge and understanding once you've taught them the basics. So here comes the flat-coated retriever, to say the second oldest retriever there is. In this case a black one. They do also come in liver, which is a dark brown, deep brown colour. So again, back we go. Had a slight distraction there, I think it was a blackbird or something. And the dog saw it, but still went the way it was told. These are air-scenting dogs. Their ancestry is in setters, so they tend to work with their heads up, as a setter would. I think this dog's winded it. Where is it? Got to get right down into that cover.
We had a British Birds of Prey demonstration taking place in the Falconry Arena at 1:30 by Chris Johnson from SFJ Falconry. And the Falconry seminar tent on followed by a question and answer session with popular.
2.
Sorry about that technical hitch, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, my batteries went flat. So again, we're having a little bit of a walk up down here. I'll just speak to the judge. Right, so we have a situation where we have some competitors on very close scores. So we're going to give 4 of the dogs another chance. So we need to call forward Jerry, please, with her Chesapeake Bay Retriever, Becky with Maya,
The next breeder for you.
and Ursula with Scotty, and the lady with the curly coat from Germany. So these 4 dogs are going to have another chance because they're really close in the scores and the judges would like to sort them out. So what we're going to have is a marked retrieve up in the far corner there, but before they're allowed to get that, they have to get a blind retrieve, which we're hiding over on that side. And again, this is simulating what would happen on shooting day, because we could say, well, that bird's dead, that's not going anywhere, we're leaving that. We need this bird over here, which is alive. It could run, we don't want it to suffer, we need to pick it up and dispatch it humanely. Okay, so that's what we're setting up here. Okay, so we're going to bring Jerry forward first. And this is the Chesapeake Bay Retriever all the way from Switzerland. If you've just joined us, we have invited our Euro Challenge teams back into the ring. These competitors were working their dogs on Friday. We have a real tradition now at the Game Fair for what we call the Euro Challenge, where teams from Europe, different countries in Europe, compete against each other for a whole day at a working test held in the international arena. And these are some of the dogs that were competing. So as I say, we've got a marked retrieve up the top of the hill there, but first we want this blind retrieve. So this is Delta, Chesapeake Bay Retriever, stopping on the whistle. Now remember, this dog hasn't seen this blind retrieve. Stopping on the whistle and sending out to the left. Now being given the hunting signal, and she's found it and on the way back. And this is all part of the training. You know, you've got to be able to work as a team with your dog should listen to you. And it looks like we're just going to say, well, somebody can pick that bird because it's dead. Anybody can pick that, you can't have to pick it by hand. Okay, so now we have our next competitor. So we mark at the top, but we want this wounded bird first. So this is a black Labrador, all the way from Finland. So the dog has to ignore that, and we want this wounded bird. And you saw the handler there put her arm out, and we will build this up from when the puppies are really young to understand that when you put your arm out ahead of your dog, they learn to follow the line of your arm. And then a signal to go to the left. That sing-song whistle tells the dog they're in the right area, get their noses down, use all their natural ability.
However,
Well done. So how strong is a dog's nose? How powerful is it? Well, if I gave you 2 cups of coffee and I put a teaspoonful of sugar in one of them, I could say to you, which one, just using your nose, which one has the sugar in it? And most people could tell me which cup had the sugar in it. This dog could tell you if there was a teaspoonful of sugar in the equivalent of 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools. So that tells you how strong their noses are. They're quite incredible creatures. These dogs can help humans in so many ways. I don't know if any of you have seen the stand here for medical detection dogs. And these dogs can sniff out people who have cancer and can save their lives. That's how wonderful dogs can be and how powerful their sense of smell is. So, you know, really appreciate the ability of these gun dogs. So next we have the curly-coated retriever, all the way from Germany. And again, you've got to ignore that bird up the top. That's a dead bird. We don't need that. Somebody can pick that by hand. We want the wounded bird, which is over on that far side of the arena.
Some of the English toy terriers we have here, one in particular who is a dog that will alert.
Nice straight line from this dog. It's in there somewhere. Lovely, there you go. You can see why this dog was on the winning team on Friday. You can see why. Well done. So lovely to see a dog that is not as popular as some of the others, so not as popular as the Labradors and the Goldens, but still showing that natural ability they were bred for originally.
Not given to arguments.
Right, now we ran this, we ran a similar competition yesterday in the pouring rain. We all got soaked, and we had a slightly different set of people. Some of them have competed again, but luckily we have a different winner. So what we're going to do, because we didn't have the prizes yesterday, we're going to award the first prize to yesterday's winner, which was Paul Birkbeck with his Labrador Fen. So Paul, would you come forward? And many congratulations to Paul. And a big thank you to representing Great Britain for us. And Great Britain came 3rd on Friday, so very well done. And I'm going to announce the result of today's test in reverse order. Okay, so I want a big round of applause. We've only got one prize for first, but I think they deserve a round of applause. So in 4th place, let's get this right, we have Jerry with Delta. So come forward for your round of applause. Well done to Jerry, all the way from Switzerland. Thank you very, very much for taking part. Thank you. And then in 3rd place, we have the curly-coated retriever from Germany. And then in 2nd place, we have Becky and Maya from Finland.
Yeah, can you hear me? Okay. Oh, thank you. I didn't get your glass.
And so the winner. Who's the winner? Well, the winner came all the way from Germany, and it's Scotty, the Black Labrador, with Ursula.
All right.
She gets a very nice bottle of pink gin.
I'll see you soon. Thanks a lot, Stuart. Take care. Bye.
So a big round of applause to all our competitors. Thank you so much for staying. Thank you so much for coming all the way from our European neighbours, and hopefully we will see you all again next year. And thank you everyone for watching, and finally, thank you for our judges.